Good evening, board members, Dr. Hernandez and district staff. The time is now 6 p.m. on this 6th day of August 2019, and I call the meeting of the Edgewood Independent School Board special meeting to order. I will call the roll. Vice President Frank Espinosa.
Present.
Board Member Timothy Payne.
Present.
Board Member Joseph Guerra.
Present.
Board Member Stella Camacho will be joining us shortly. Board Member James Hernandez will also be joining us shortly. President Roy Soto, I'm here as well. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Could everyone please rise for the pledge of allegiance to the pledge of the Texas flag? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We're going to begin with our action items. Action item A, consideration and approval of enrollment option for students who do not meet pre-kindergarten enrollment qualifications.
Mr. Soto, this evening we want to bring to the board consideration on this item that directly affects our ability to serve our constituency in terms of pre-K programming in the district. So we have a presentation for the group on behalf of our Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Bill Chavez.
I want to make sure that I'm being recorded. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board, SLT, distinguished members in the audience. Tonight we're going to talk about early childhood enrollment options, specifically for pre-kindergarten, 4-year-old program. Currently, I want to show you where we're at in terms of early childhood choice in Edgewood. We have 3 programs that currently exist. Head Start is a program that exists at Cardinals Early Childhood Center and at Stafford Early Childhood Center. And we have 744 slots for that particular program. Last year, 300 of those slots were 3-year-olds and the remainder were 4-year-olds. These particular programs have a higher degree of poverty required to enter into the program, and they provide several wraparound services to our community. The other piece is our pre-K 4 elementary campuses. Those particular campuses have 4-year-olds, and they must reside in the Edgewood and Brent School District unless they are Edgewoodized employees. The next piece is our pre-K 4 SA program. That particular program is serviced in 4 locations: pre-K 4 SA North, pre-K 4 SA South, East, and we reside in the West Campus, with the majority of the students from Edgewood attending that particular location. That location is on Old Highway 90, right next to Red Middle School. That particular program services 2,000 students across the city, 500 at each campus. Last year we had a little under 100 students that were enrolled in pre-K 4 SA West Campus. Those are our 4 programs and the population that they serve and their eligibility. Head Start has class sizes of 3-year-olds of 17 to a classroom. Our 4-year-olds have a limit of 20. Again, we mentioned this, that they're both at Stafford and Cardinals Early Childhood Centers. The ratios for our elementary campuses, although I want to emphasize at this point, there is no 22-to-1 limit for pre-kindergarten. 22-to-1 class size ratio only exists in the other elementary class grade levels. Pre-K 4 for elementary classes, we have approximately 22 students in that particular class. Some may have more, some may have less. And the campuses that we're covering are Cisneros, Gonzales, H.B. Gonzales, Johnson, Las Palmas, Little Park, and Vidal. Pre-K 4 SA, their class size is approximately 20. And Gardendale this year will be opening up the Gardendale Pre-K 4 SA Early Childhood Learning Program. We'll start off this month with 3 pre-kindergarten classrooms. What we're here today to talk about is to talk about enrollment allocations for our pre-kindergarten students. If you look on your board agenda, on the background information, we have the requirement of those pieces that, in order to be eligible for the pre-kindergarten program. Students who are not eligible for the pre-kindergarten program by state standards we do not receive any funding from the state. However, we're looking at 2 options for our pre-K students. One is to solidify or codify our pre-K 4-year-olds of EISD employees, that they be provided access to to enroll in our pre-K classrooms, in our elementary campuses, with no charge. That is a benefit. It not only benefits the employee, but also provides for our retention purpose, which is one of our board superintendent goals. Remember, this is only for pre-K, because pre-K only has a half-day funding piece. So the other half-day would be covered by the district if they qualify. If they do not qualify, then we'll be picking up the entire tab that we did. The second piece is for non-employee individuals. Non-employee students may pay tuition. For example, we had some parents last year, when we started our Gardendale Pre-K 4 SA partnership, inquiring if they could send their child. They inquired because their child did not meet the pre-kindergarten guidelines. And in that conversation, they said, why can we pay tuition for our child to attend our pre-K classroom? One, I want to emphasize that pre-kindergarten is an excellent program. We've normally talked about it as a dropout prevention tool, simply because we're bringing children in earlier and preparing them for those early developmental years, specifically in reading development and mathematics development. So in this case, with the tuition piece, we want to bring to the board that we use a sliding scale for tuition. A sliding scale based on the income and the household size. Inside your board packet, you have a spreadsheet that outlines the sliding scale component. There are some considerations that I want you to know that we've looked into. One is for if we have one slot, and one slot only at this one campus, who should that slot go to? Well, I want to say that by law, we're required to offer free pre-K for all students that qualify in the district. Okay? So at the end of the day, those students who qualify, who are able students, are take priority above all other things. I want to make sure that we're clear about that, because we will not be inclined to do otherwise. Secondly, if we have a community member who wants to pay tuition, and say we have an employee child, who we get that one slot? Well, the conversation, we're looking to serve our community, so we can communicate. And so at the end of the day, we will develop, we're in the process of developing the guidelines. We already have the basis for that. So there may be some questions. For example, What happens if we get 20 students who are out of the district, who do not qualify, yet they pay tuition? That would need to be on a case-by-case basis, because we would have to fund that entire teacher. So I don't believe that we would offer that simply for students outside our district. These, again, ladies and gentlemen, are for open slots. If we have a class of, say, 20, a size of 20, and we have 17, then we have 3 open slots. Again, students who qualify or in the district take priority. And then we'll have a matrix to look at their priorities. Dr. Nuns?
I have a question. Do we have an idea how many kids from employees are interested in this program?
Last year, we had approximately 10 employees. This year, we're assuming that it's that number again. Remember, this is a process of only people who have 4-year-olds after September 1st. So in that case, it kind of limits the number, and every year it changes. But our experience has been approximately 10 employee members, 10 employee students. The other question that you may be asking was how many tuition people do we have? Well, currently, I believe we have 2, sorry. We have 2 requests for tuition. So again, that question kind of percolated during our pre-K for SA Gardendale Discovery Nights. And so we don't anticipate a large number. Again, I want to say that these are for open available seats. So again, we have 7.
There you go.
If we have 17 students enrolled, and there's a limit of 20, we would have 3 available slots, and then work accordingly. We do believe that this will allow us to garner individuals specifically at Gardendale, because pre-K for SA, as I mentioned previously, has 2,000 slots across the district, and they also have some pretty substantial waiting lists. If indeed they do enroll in Gardendale, they will have the pre-K for SA grant and curriculum from pre-K to K, first and second. So we do believe that as we're marketing this particular program, pre-K in general, we want teachers and tuition people to pay for that year or for free, but to stay in the program. That is our number 1 goal, is retention of those students.
Based on the Head Start model, the Head Start model says that if you have a child that's not speaking a specific language, like we know that we have children that are already moved into our district, with the pre-K model, are we required to hire a teacher for that child? Because with the Head Start model, you are required to hire a teacher for that child. But is that the same for the pre-K model?
Currently, for our bilingual programs and English as a second language programs, we have to have a certain number of students. We would take that as a case-by-case basis. Of course, we're required to service those individuals, so we would work accordingly.
Thanks.
Thank you. And we do have an increase of non-English speaking individuals in the district from other countries other than Spanish-speaking countries.
So board members, I'll take you back to the couple conversations that we had over the previous year. Okay, I don't like the whole one. The first thing being, when I came on last year, one of the first conversations you had with me was about retention. So that speaks to our goal 4 of the board superintendent goals in terms of retention. When we began the conversation with you last fall about innovation, if you recall, there are 2 touch points where we're losing students when they're coming in and leaving us from pre-K to K, and then again from 5th to 6th grade. So I think this will also give us another opportunity to capture students and who maybe we don't have a relationship with today, but we can start building relationships moving forward. And as we start developing programs of innovation, we're able to market those programs to these particular families. And so if you will, if you move on this motion, I've had conversations with our marketing department about how do we start marketing this in terms of to our employees, to our surrounding areas, and then for the spring where we start recruiting and the spring, that this will also be a piece that we could include in material, and then of course more out at job fairs and things of that nature. So this will have a direct effect on our abilities to move forward in HR, academics, a lot of different areas.
So that's why we're bringing this motion to you for this special meeting.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Board members, do we have any other questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to confirm, it is going to be the community, the families around here first and then the employees, right?
Yes, ma'am. By law, we're required to offer those opportunities for
By law, we're required to offer those opportunities to members of the community first, those who qualify for those services, and of course, to extend that tuition elsewhere. Thank you.
Board members, any other questions? Board members, do we have a motion to accept action item 8? Do we have a second? Board members, do we have any discussion? If we have no discussion, Board member Marta Castilla moves. Board member Joseph Guerra seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Board members, this was the only item we had on the agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Do we have a second? Second. Board member Timothy Payne moves. Board member Joseph Guerra seconds. Do we have any discussion? If we have no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.